there's nothing like cracking that cellophane and pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father.
Man, this stuff rocks.
Hey, this is Falla from Solar Haze, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour. Hope you all dig it.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father. And as always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and a huge privilege to welcome guitar, vocals, and bass guitar Stephen Falla of Solar Haze. Solar Haze will release their new EP entitled The Solar Haze on July 16th via Metal Assault Records. And we're going to be talking to Stephen about all this good stuff and what's coming down the pipe for Solar Haze. So, Stephen, how's it going, man? Welcome to the show.
Good. Thanks for having me. How are you doing?
Not a problem whatsoever. Glad to have you on here. So how excited are you guys to get back out on the road and tour and play some local shows, some other venues? How excited are you guys?
Yeah, now we're really excited. We've been waiting for a year and a half to get this going. Luckily, we made sure to stay busy during this time writing and recording, so when the chance to finally get out and play shows came, we were ready with some new stuff.
How long have you guys been sitting on this EP to get it out there, man? Has it been over a year possible to get this out?
Well, we started writing the songs probably about the summer of, maybe right before the summer of last year. And then we went into the studio maybe around, I want to say October, and finished recording and mixing everything by December, January.
Oh, wow.
So we've had this for about 6 months just sitting around,
Wow. Yeah, owed to you guys, but new to us and ready to get it out there and move forward for sure. Jeez, man.
Yeah. But we had to make sure we get all the art. In a way, it was good too, because it wasn't very rushed. We had time to, make sure the artwork was right, make sure we got it out to all the people that we wanted to hear it, preview it. So it was a better it was better that we had it and we have more time to show people, as opposed to, barely making a deadline and then everything's kind of rushed. So it all worked out.
So how's it feel to have this new EP in the Solar Haze music library, man?
It's fun. We're excited now. We can start messing with the set list and playing some old stuff, playing some new stuff. And even after we're done, even after we finish with this, we already have more songs ready. So we're always writing and doing things so we could add stuff into the set list and change things up all the time.
So my God, I'm not knocking anybody during the COVID or anything like that, but for you guys, man, this kind of had to be like a little blessing, because it gave you more time to writing more stuff and coming up with new things.
Yeah, exactly. We definitely didn't want to just be hanging around. I mean, like you said, it was an intense time period, but we tried to make the best out of it that we could. So if we're not playing shows, at least we're writing songs and doing things to keep Solar Haze moving. So when everything did clear up, we would be ready with new stuff and not just kind of coming out and then doing the same thing that we were doing before. Things like that.
Mm-hmm. So were these songs that had been previously written, or are these all brand new songs on this EP?
Yeah, there's like riffs made. There's probably, no, I think this was all once we had the idea that we were going to record an EP. Most of the material was like fresh right off that. Maybe the song Fortress, I think that was a riff that I've had for maybe a couple months before that. But when it came time to like, okay, we're writing an EP, like let's get this going, then we started the process. So I would say 99% of it is new stuff.
So were you guys a little nervous releasing this EP right now, since bands couldn't tour at the time? Or are you just glad to finally get this out and be done with it?
We were going to release it whether bands were going to not be playing, we just kind of were saying, let's release it for the summer. We wanted this to be like one of those fun summer albums. Everyone's jamming out on vacation, on the beach. So we definitely were going to come out with it either way. And yeah, so we just wanted to make sure we had something.
What's impressed or excited you the most about making the new EP, if anything? What sticks out for you on this, Stephen, possibly?
The thing that excites us the most about this is it's kind of a bridge between the first album and the second album. We're trying to make an overall theme and overall story, because I kind of took inspiration from like the Marvel movies, Marvel comics in general, where everything is like kind of connected. There's an overall story. So for the first album, it's not really a story, but there's a theme. And then the second album, there's a definite story. So this is kind of connecting, the two. There's the first, we wanted, when we were writing this, we had in mind it being released on vinyl. So so side A, the first two songs, we're going to be like not party, but, upbeat, rock and roll songs. And the last song was going to be more of the like kind of introduction, like a preview of what's going to be like with the second album and how that's going to be. So we're excited to kind of get this out so people can start seeing like the story we're building and the songs and how everything's starting to come out and how everything's starting to evolve and change.
So is this a concept album or just a regular album?
There's a loose concept. I wouldn't say like Seventh Son of the Seventh Son, anything like that, but definitely the first two songs, the Solar Age, I think Ryan and Ross are kind of tossing that like every time we have our crazy conversations. The Solar Age probably got tossed around a couple times, and when we were jamming on that song, so the Solar Age is mostly Ross's song. He pretty much had everything, the layout, riffs and everything ready, and we just kind of like tweaked it, maybe play this part 4 times instead of 6 times, and then I did the vocals on top of it. And then once that started coming out, we're like, oh, why don't we call this the Solar Age? Because when we were jamming at the very end, I just started singing the Solar Age is here, and then we're like, oh, that sounds good. So that's kind of how that started. And the Fortress is kind of, so they tie in together, kind of like the Solar Age is here, the new world is evolving, and then Fortress is about the old world being destroyed. So they're kind of connected in that sense. And then the third song, Terror of the Deep, is not really the same thing. It's kind of, that song is side B in our heads, and that's going to be the preview. Like, listen to this song. This is like really different from the other 2 songs, but it's kind of going to give you a vibe of what the second album is going to be about.
I know there's 3 tracks on this EP, but are they, out of these 3, which ones stand out more to you than any right now on the EP? I know it must change every time you talk about it or you listen to it. I know these are your babies, but out of these 3, which one sticks out the most for you possibly, Stephen?
Yeah, like you said, it's hard, but for sure, Terror of the Deep is like one of those songs where after we finished recording it, that song I would say had the definite, like in the studio, we've been playing it, practicing it, and it was cool. Like, yeah, it's a good song, but it's a 9-minute song. So when you're playing it all the time, you kind of lose sight of everything. So once we started recording it, and I actually heard it with the drums and guitar, I was like, wow. I was like, this sounds a lot different. Like how, in a good way, I was like, dang, this sounds like kind of when I was writing it at the beginning. That was like one of the first quarantine riffs I wrote. And when I heard it recorded, when I first started playing it, I said, this is like kind of Orange Goblin-y. It had an Orange Goblin vibe to me. And then once I heard it with the drums being recorded, I was like, dang, this kind of sounds like Load. And I love Load, Metallica. So I was like, dang. So it was a little surprise. And then once it all came out, I was like, dang, this is a song right here. It's kind of has like a Mastodon vibe, kind of has a Metallica Load vibe. So I'm really happy with the way that one came out. And then we just kept adding things. We just, in the studio at the very end, when the song ends and then the ocean sound starts coming in and the acoustic guitar, that's I told Ryan, because he wrote that riff and it's going to be on the second album, but I said, you know what, we have debates about that riff all the time. He wants it to be like a more rock and roll riff. I was like, that's kind of like in my ears, it's like a tribal riff, like slow it down, play it on the acoustic guitar, and we can make it sound like something like a tribe, and an island tribe, maybe that's something you would hear an island tribe play on guitar. So we played it, and then we added some ocean sounds on top of it, and then we just really went for it to try to give people like this idea, like, whoa, what's this all about? Like, just kind of fades in, fades out, just making people like, what was that? What is that all about? So that's right there is the real, like, preview, like the segue into the next album. So that's what we're really excited about.
So would you say that's the song that totally ended up sounding different than it was intended to when it was brought to the table when you first started recording on it or working on it?
Yeah, I wouldn't say like it's completely sounded different, just the vibes I was getting. So we thought it was going to be more like a straightforward kind of thing, and then we started listening to it when we were recording it. We're like, you know what, the vibe is still there, but it's starting to shift a little bit. You know, you're adding the bass, you're adding this and that, and then it sounds like, you know, oh, things are changing. So it's not like 100%, oh man, I didn't even expect it to sound like this, but it's definitely, it got better when it got recorded, for sure. And I was like, dang, this song is a pretty piece.
So the Solar Haze EP was produced by Eddie Vasquez of a San Diego-based band Tsunami. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah, that is correct.
So how was working with him on this? Did he get something out of you guys that maybe another producer might not have gotten possibly?
Yeah, he works with, he's worked on the first album with us, so we were already really comfortable with him. And it's good because we play shows with Tsunami frequently whenever we're down to San Diego. So, he's an amazing musician, so he could play, if I'm like, oh, play this scale, he could do it. Play this key, he could do it. So maybe me and Ryan couldn't really understand like what we were trying to, like we're saying things and we don't really understand the music way to say it, and then he could understand it. He's like, oh, so you mean this? I'm like, yes. So that really helps out. And then he makes suggestions like Fortress. When I wrote the song in my head, I was like, this is High on Fire. So I was trying to sing like Matt Pike, like a real low kind of thing. And it was sounding good. And then he made suggestions like, you know what, why don't you try to take it up like a third or something like that? So then he had his keyboard. So he's like, he's like, I know this note is high, but I know you could do it. So why don't you do it in this key? And then when we did that, the song, like, I was like, whoa, I was like, this sounds completely different, but it sounds like so much better. Like it's another level. It's not just, the straightforward, I mean, it is a straightforward rock metal song, but it just took it to another level. It's like, oh, now the vocals are definitely like right there where I want them to be, you know? So he makes suggestions that could be really helpful for us a lot of the time.
Who did the artwork for this EP?
Our man, Ryan Bartlett, he's like, he's the Solar Haze in-house artist. Whenever we have any artwork, we always go to him because I know he does an amazing job doing stuff. Do
you see the band still musically growing from the debut album till now? Do you see the growth of the band? If so, what's the main factor of the growth possibly?
So the first album was, you know, it's, people would like to say we're a stoner doom band, and that's cool. We have those elements. I don't like to get too hung up on that, but the first album definitely was like heavier, stonery stuff. And this one, we're just trying to be like more rock and roll, where it's not just sticking to one thing. There's elements of this. So instead of just, oh, let's make a song that sounds like Sleep, or let's make a song that sounds like Metallica, it's like, why don't we have this cool Metallica riff, but why don't you play something that Yes would play on drums or something? Because Ryan, he loves Yes. He's always finding a way to do stuff like that. Or we have this Sleep riff, but what would Steve Harris do if he had this riff and he was trying to make a song with this? So we just try to do different things with the riffs and not try to make it, you know, just as straightforward and obvious. If you just, here's a riff, here's a drums, you know, do this. Like, oh, why don't we try to take it this direction and see what happens?
I want to go back to this. Were there any songs that didn't make this EP, Steven, that is going to be on the new album that's coming up here later on when you finish that one? Were there any songs that didn't make this EP that will be on it possibly?
No, because when we were told, we were asked by the label to do an EP, they're like, try to keep it under 20 minutes. So we already knew, like, right there and then, okay, we have one song. Solar Age was kind of already there. We had a basis, so we said we already have this. We kind of have Fortress, so we already knew we just kind of needed like maybe one or two songs. And once we started diving into Terror, we knew, okay, this is going to take up the rest of the EP, because I was already 8 minutes, those two songs. And by the time we got halfway through the song, we're like, this is probably going to be like 8 minute, 9 minute song. So we already knew right there and then it was just going to be those three songs, and there was going to be anything left over.
So the single Burn the Light was originally released on cassette tape as part of Metal Assault Mixtape Volume 3 by Metal Assault Records on August 14th of 2020. Was there any possibility that this single could have been on the EP, or was that just a one-off only?
Yeah, that was a one-off thing. We originally, when that song got written, I had that riff for a long time, like that like me and Ryan would always fuck around. And that was like our Motley Crue party riff. So we just, every time we were just going to start partying, we just start playing that riff. and then eventually we just kind of put the song together. And it came out good. We were pretty surprised, but we knew it's not really like fitting. It's not really an album song. That's like a fun song. So we're like, oh, we'll just release it as a single. So when Metal Soul was doing the thing, we said, oh, we have this song if you want to use it, because that's kind of the thing it would fit on a mix or maybe just a one-off thing. So we were like able to throw it on there and not have to worry about connecting themes or making sure it all flow together. Like, oh, here's a cool party rock song. You want a song? And we sent it over to them and they used it.
What do you hope everyone takes away, or message you hope they hear, Stephen, while listening to any of Solar Haze music in general? What do you hope they get from it once they pop that in to listen to?
I hope their minds are blown. I hope, I just hope it's like when they listen to it, it's not what they're expecting. So maybe when they listen to a song, they think, oh, they took that in an interesting direction. I didn't see that coming. Or maybe it is exactly what they want. Because sometimes, you just want to keep it right there in the pocket and just keep that vibe the whole song. And that's cool where you could jam on it. And then sometimes we try to make things wacky. So we just hope people have a good time when they listen to our songs and they're always grooving along,
Yeah, it's like I've always said, you don't have to add 15,000 different things into one song. I mean, the simpler, the better, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. So there are times where, like, you know what, the song that me and Ryan, we just believe, the song will take us where the song wants to go. If the song wants to be straightforward to the point, that's where it's going to go. We're not going to need to push it or add stuff. But there's sometimes the songs we're writing, and maybe I'll just play a riff out of nowhere because we're just jamming on it, just experiment. Because sometimes that's what we do. It's not so much like sitting down and coming with riffs. Sometimes it'll just be on the spot, and out of nowhere you're like, oh, that riff actually works pretty well with that. Why don't we do that? Why don't we expand on that? So sometimes it's very straightforward, and sometimes it is fitting 1,000 things into the song. But I think me and Ryan and my brother and Ross are very good at being able to look at our own material and being like, that sucks, that doesn't work. So if it sounds good, we'll keep it. If it sounds like trash, it doesn't make it.
How is it, man, playing in a band with your brother? Because lots of times this don't work out very good. So how is it working with you?
Yeah, for sure. No, it's definitely fun. It's a great experience. There are times, when it's your brother, so sometimes little things irritate you. But for the most part, we know how to not let things affect the band. And we have a good relationship, so it's never like we're at each other's throats. Maybe when we first started playing after high school, we had that problem where it's like irritating each other. But now, it's a pretty good experience. Like, we could jam. Sometimes when we're writing songs, there'll be heated discussions and heated arguments, but we just know it's all about the song, and we never get personal about anything. No one's ever talking shit about each other. It's always just about the songs and whatnot.
Do you guys push each other in this band to get the best out of each of you?
Oh, definitely. Well, sometimes he'll have a drum part that I need to play something that I need I got to practice on this. I need to work on this, or the melody is different from this. But if it sounds good, you just got to work on it to make sure it sounds as good as it can.
Mm-hmm. What made you want to become a musician, Stephen, if you can remember? What was that spark for you possibly, man?
I have been playing guitar since 6th grade, maybe. So Ryan was actually the one that started playing guitar. And he would always go to Vegas during the summer. And we would both go to Vegas during the summer, but one summer I stayed home and he went to Vegas, and he came back with an acoustic guitar, and he was playing freaking Smoke on the Water, Iron Man, like, the beginner rock songs. Mm-hmm. And I was like, how is he doing this? Like, what is this? So I started playing, and then our neighbor was already a musician. He played guitar, and he played Misfits, a lot of punk stuff. So we would jam out with him. He would teach us Misfits songs, and we would play guitar in the front yard. We lived in a cul-de-sac, so we could just hang out in the street. No one really bothered us. So sometimes we'd be outside until 3:00 in the morning just playing guitar, and just until seeing who could stay out the latest. Like, oh, you're going to sleep now, dude? It's only 3:00. So I have always been playing music for a while, but the first concert was Ozfest 2005. That was with Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden, and then Slipknot guest appearance that day. And after seeing Iron Maiden, I was all like, damn, I was like, we gotta start a band. We gotta do that. Whatever Iron Maiden's doing right there, that's what we gotta do.
The Misfits, the band that did it all. Well, one of the bands that did it all for me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Horror Hotel.
Yeah.
Man alive.
Oh yeah, we could play all the songs. Like that's what we just do. We just put the album on and just start jamming to it, and then. But it's actually funny because I started off with Michael Graves, and then when I found out about Danzig, I go, "Who is this guy?"
I hate asking this question, but everybody's like, "Do you like Danzig or Graves?" There, it doesn't matter. It's all Misfits to me.
Yeah, both. I mean, I love them both.
Yeah, yeah, God, yeah. I mean, love the Misfits, man. You can't go wrong with listening to the Misfits.
Exactly.
I don't care who you are. All their shit's good. God, they got so many. Like I said, Horror Hotel. They've got Ratfink. Let's see, not Ratfink. They've got Die Die My Darling. We Are 138. Skulls. Astro Zombies.
And then,
jeez.
funny enough, that Ozfest show. That's when I graduated from 8th grade, going to high school. So my dad was saying he would take me to a concert now. He's like, okay, you're old enough. And the choices I had, it was going to be Ozfest or Danzig when he was doing the Doyle, where Doyle would come out at the end of the set and do a couple Misfit songs.
Yeah, the 25th.
Those are the two concerts I had. Yeah, the 25th anniversary.
Yeah.
So those were the two concerts I had the choice to go to. It was either Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath, or Danzig. And then I ended up going to see Maiden. And I'm like, what would have happened if I went to see Danzig? How would Solar Haze have been?
I got to go to that tour, the 25th anniversary tour with Danzig. I got to see that.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I watch videos of it all the time. It looks like it was a sick tour.
It was very, very sick, and I'll tell you that right now, because I was in the crowd, and when Doyle came on, you might as well forget, Glenn didn't have to sing at all. They just had to play the music, and everybody else sung. That was it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Good.
That's crazy.
So good. So I know you have a lot of music, a lot of albums that you still have today. Is there any album that you go back to every other week, every other month, something like that? Is there an album that draws you back into listening to, or that you find yourself listening to periodically to give you inspiration or allow you to escape? Man, do you have an album possibly that does that for you? Maybe.
That's a good question. Anything Iron Maiden in general, like Iron Maiden, you know how it is with bands you love that you'll listen to them nonstop, and then sometimes you just stop for a while, and then you'll go back to it and you're like, dang, this is some good stuff right here. Because right now I've been not really listening to so much Iron Maiden, Metallica, not so much that. Funny enough, what happened was a couple of months ago, because my sister and my youngest brother, they're more like the modern music, hip-hop and stuff. So when we went down, me and my wife, we went down the YouTube rabbit hole like months and months ago, and we were just watching music videos of like Drake and stuff like that. So I started getting into Drake, but it actually helped out a lot because when I was watching those music videos, I was saying when we come out with our music video, the Solar Age, I don't want it to just be a video of a band playing. Everyone's done that video, everyone's seen. People know what a rock band looks like nowadays. So that kind of helped me get the idea when we do our music video, let's make it a little more like story driven. Let's make it a little more interesting rather than just, something that is us playing in the freaking jam room or something. So that helped out. If I had to say one album that I could go back to and just be like, damn, this is a good album, probably Seventh Son of the Seventh Son.
I want to ask you about writing, though. You hit on something very key right there. Do you also don't want to listen to metal or punk music when you're writing an album? Do you want to listen to some other style of music? Does that help you possibly, or no? Or does it matter?
It's more about after, because I get recording, writing. We write all the time in general, even if it's not sitting down with a song. Sometimes we'll come up with the riff, and then me and Ryan will jam on it, and then we'll just kind of forget about it. We'll bring it back every now and then. The thing that is more emotionally and spiritually draining is recording the album. So after we record, sometimes I don't even want to look at my guitar. I don't even want to listen to rock music for a little while. I'm like, I need to take a break for a month or something, and then I'll come back to it.
Folks, you want to get out and pick up Solar Haze new EP, The Solar Haze, which will be released on July 16th via Metal Assault Records. And you definitely want to pre-order that right now and pick it up as well. So, Stephen, how can folks stay in touch with you guys, buy this EP, merchandise, all this good stuff? How can they do that, sir?
Look us up on Instagram. We have the Instagram. We have the Facebook. It's mostly, we have the Bandcamp too, Bandcamp Solar Haze. It's mostly those ones. Instagram is where we're going to be most active because Facebook, people will use it, but it's just caught up in so much drama. Instagram seems to be the most fun way to interact with people. So we're always on Instagram posting stories or making videos and stuff like that.
And before I let you go, would you care to do a promo for my show, good sir?
Oh, definitely, yes. Hey, this is Stephen Falla from Solar Haze, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour. Everybody
stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour Podcast. Please get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link and our YouTube link, and I'm begging and asking you guys and gals, please subscribe to the YouTube link because we got a lot of stuff that's coming up. Plus, we got giveaways coming down the pipe as well. And just please support us because we would really appreciate it. And also, please get out and check out Solar Haze. Please pre-order their new EP, The Solar Haze, which, like I said, is going to be released on July 16th via Metal Assault Records. And pick up their old stuff as well. Don't sleep on the band. Give them a fair shot, folks. Never know, you'll find another band that you'll dig. So, Stephen, my friend, I wish you guys nothing but the best of luck, and you're welcome on here anytime you want.
All right, thank you for having me, and we'll definitely have to come back on again.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.